Hello, my name's Ivan. Welcome to the first of many recorded sessions that will take you through how to configure Applaud software. This is the introduction module. This is a short set of slides to take you through an overview of what the training schedule is going to be, the training instances and the logons that you need to complete the exercises. And I'm going to show you a brief demo of Applaud working on desktop and mobile, just in case you haven't seen that before. So there's lots of recorded training for you to view. We've broken the training up into 4 sessions. So session 1 is around personalization. This is how you tweak and configure our app to show the sort of prompts and data on screen that your client wants to see. Very similar to personalizing Oracle self-service. So things like how to hide and show fields, how to change the data that's coming back into the application, how to add hint and tip text, how to change the colors, how to change the logos and icons, all that sort of thing. Session 2 starts off on what is maybe one of the more challenging parts of configuring Applaud. It's about the security, and we're talking about application security here. We're not talking about technical security like mobile security. We're talking about things like security profiles, the equivalent of responsibility-based security. It's the security against your users. Now, Applaud uses roles-based access control. If you've ever configured Cloud HCM or Fusion, you'll be somewhat familiar with RBAC, or roles-based access control. If not, don't worry, we take you through that from first principles. This is very standard Oracle security. It's not used too much within HCM, but it's used in eBusiness Suite outside HCM. Session 3, very useful, and this is the session that you probably use most in doing a proper implementation. It's combining session 1 and 2 into configuring new views of information, and particular configuring extra information types in it, special information type views. So session 3 will cover how to configure those particular processes, and it uses a lot of concepts from session 1 and 2. So don't think, if you are looking to configure an EIT, don't think you can jump straight into session 3. We use a lot of concepts from session 1 and 2. Session 4 is kind of a wash-up of miscellaneous topics. We cover how to configure some of the other options in Applaud, things like the org chart, things like how the employee directory and search works. We do a little bit of talking about deploying Applaud on mobile devices. It's really useful if you're doing a project where the client needs mobile access first. And maybe the most important module of all, especially if you're a consultant doing implementation work, is the final point there: how we patch our software, and also how it is possible to bundle up and extract configuration to accelerate your deployment and implementation. So that last point is very, very important for consultants who are looking to implement Applaud as quickly and as safely as possible. Now, each one of those sessions takes around 3 to 3.5 hours, so about half a day. So if you're doing this over a series of days, allow about half a day to do those particular sessions. And the sessions are broken up into a series of recordings from me. I will take you through some slides and examples on our demo system, and there will be exercises for you to do on our demo system as well as part of each session. Each session has around 3 to 4 different exercises for you to log on to our demo system and explore the configuration there and answer some questions and do some self-learning. Okay, now these are a couple of important links about our demo environment that you will need to know. For the sessions, they're interactive. You will be logging on to one of our databases. We have a training instance. Here is the URL that you need to access. It's there. Keep that safe. This URL is not repeated as part of the exercises, so take that down and bookmark it. This environment is up most of the time it's based in the Amazon cloud. If the training instance happens to be down when you want to use it, obviously these recorded sessions are meant to be taken in your own time. We have another website here that you can click onto, and if the website does happen to be down, you can start the database. It takes about 5 minutes. I'll just show you what that looks like. So here's the login for it's a 12.1.3 training instance at the moment. And if you log on to this URL here, http://acs.applaudsolutions.com/8000, this is the environment here. And at the moment you can see it's running. It means that the database is up. If it happens to go down for whatever reason, sometimes we bring databases down, especially at the weekend, there will be an action button here that will allow you to start the database. This is particularly useful if you're trying to access this instance over a weekend. Sometimes we bring databases down at the end of the week. You can bring it up, and this is a public website. You don't need any access or registration. You can just go and bring the database up. You cannot take the database down. If you're thinking of trying that one, you can only bring it up if it's not running. Okay, but when you log on, it's a regular Oracle R12 instances on the public internet. You don't need any special permissions to access it. The usernames and passwords you'll be using are on screen, so remember those. For the setup, we'll be looking at HRMS/welcome. That's the standard user that we use to get access to all the configuration screens. You'll be using that. To actually look at the app, if you want to use our app, then use welcome as your username and password. Now, we do refresh this database on a regular basis. We rewind it to a stable clone. However, this is a shared database. It's shared between our partners and our customers, so we kindly request that you do not change any configuration. The exercises that you have to do not require you to change any config. So you're welcome to sort of play around with it, and even on some cases you may wish to submit transactions. That's kind of okay as long as you don't mess up the data too much, but please don't change the configuration. It's only for inspection only. Right, one last slide. If you are doing a setup of Applaud on your own customer site or your own internal instance and you're not using our instance, these are the responsibilities that you need. You need functional administrator or functional developer. I tend to use both of those, but you definitely need functional developer. A lot of consultants, of course, will be using functional administrator a lot. There are some special tools on functional developer that you need. Application developer, you don't necessarily need application developer, but there's a few screens where that's useful. So if you're a user that prefers to use the forms rather than the HTML screens, then fine, you can use that too. Most of the configuration done in Applaud is around things like menus, functions, messages, value sets, flex fields, that sort of thing. So application developer gives you access to that too. We ship as part of our product a new responsibility called Applaud Administrator. You will need to give yourself that. There's a few post-install steps that are executed through that responsibility. You'll obviously need access to the standard HRMS responsibilities that your client has, something like US HRS Manager or the Manager and Employee Self-Service responsibilities that you have. You'll need access to SQL Developer. And finally, the most important one, the responsibility you may not have used too much before, is user management. Okay, and we'll spend some time with user management. This is the responsibility that you may have used before to reset passwords, and it's obviously the HTML version of the user screen where you can assign responsibilities. We're going to be using this responsibility for roles-based access, which is a set of screens you may not have used before. And to use those screens, you actually need a separate bit of access and security granted to you. You need to be given the security admin role to your user to be able to use user management. We'll be covering that last point when we do session 2 on RBAC. Right, for those of you taking this training who have never ever seen Applaud working, I'm going to do a very, very fast demo of Employee Center, which is the main product that we're going to be learning how to configure. If you have seen this before, then you won't probably learn anything new, but this is useful. Just a 5-minute overview of what the solution looks like. So here I am on my demo instance. I'm going to log in using my regular username and password, which is be Eric So Welcome. And we're going to wait for this to log in. Straight away you see our new user interface is displayed to the user. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Okay, this is me. This is me as the user, my photo, my name and assignment information up the top. You've got a landing page that gives a little bit of news or welcome information, and then down the left we have it's effectively my employee self-service menu. I've got things like my work list, I've got my profile, I've got my absence menu and so on. If I click any of these, if I click say profile, I've got sub-menu under here where I can see other information as well. So on this particular page it's read only. I can see some contact details, I can see some employment details. I've got a sort of basic supervisor hierarchy there. I can go and say look at my performance history here. I can go and look at my assignment history here. I can click on different rows, see more information about that particular row if I want to. If I want to do say a more complicated transaction, let's look at our absence screen. This is a very common one people want to configure. This is our absence screen. You can see things like the PTO balance here, some ability to embed HTML text. We've got some absences down here. It looks like we've got a few errors on our training instance. We've got an absence that's pending approval. You can see some details about that. See, it's gone off to 2 people to approve. And if I want to request an absence, I've got this add button up here to try to create a new different type of absence. Okay, I'm not going to go through that for just quickness, but as an example of a transactional screen. Okay, so these are my employee self-service options down there. If I want to do a manager action, we don't have the concept of swapping between responsibilities on our app. Everything's in one screen. So because Barry is a manager, he has this team option here. If I click on team, I can see the people that report to me. If I say look at Robert James here, with this little arrow here, I can click this. And now I see my manager self-service actions here. So all my manager actions are combined in the same screen as my employee actions. To get to my manager actions, I'd have to click on someone's photo. I see this pop-up menu here, and I can see information about that person in my team. So employee and manager actions are available from the same view. You select the person, then you select the action. That's different from regular Oracle, where normally you log in, you see your responsibilities, you choose responsibility, you choose your menu, you choose your function you want to go to, and then you see a list of people, and you choose to action on a particular person. So in standard Oracle, you choose responsibility, action, person. In Applaud, you choose person, action. It's a more natural way to do HR processes. So what we'll be doing as part of the training is understanding how you configure these screens. So the security aspects of the training will configure it will cover how you configure these options. Running down the left, how you configure manager self-service options. So how you decide which ones you see in here. Personalization, it will cover things like how do you change the data and prompts that you see in a particular screen. So if I had a customer that wanted to see some extra fields on here, how do you configure that on? If I want to add some extra fields, or if I want to change the data coming back into job, how do I, for example, add the position field onto here? It's not showing. How would I do that? The personalization topic will cover this. Each screen can be configured to show different panels of information. We'll talk about how you configure the screens to show 2 panels, 3 panels, 1 panel, whatever. So on here we've got 3 panels, 1, 2, 3. On performance history, we've just got 1 panel. If I go down to say personal information, I've got 4 panels: basic details, phones, addresses, and contacts. So these are all things that you can control as the implementer. You can control how many panels you see on screen. You can decide whether you show a list of information or a sort of a form view like this. HTML embedded images and text, help text, all that sort of thing will be covered in session 1. Session 2 will cover the security, which is mainly around how you control these options down the left, what options you can run on a particular person, what processes you can have access to. Session 3 will be how to configure EITs and SITs mainly, and flexible views as well. So if I take an example of what we call a flexible view or a custom view, if I say look at my training history, this is an example of a view that you could create on your own data based on configuration. In this particular case, this data is coming back from Oracle Learning Management. But if your customer wanted to, I don't know, bring back some information from payroll or from benefits or some other place within Oracle that we don't have a view for, you can create your own view that looks something like this through configuration without having to do any technical coding. And that will be covered in session 3 as well. In session 4, we'll be covering how to configure the org chart. I'm just bringing up now. You have a standard org chart. You have different information. You can drill up and down the hierarchy. You can see different tabs of information as you progress, and you can configure the data that shows in these tabs as well. So we have an org chart that's very configurable. We'll have a session on how to configure that. We'll have a session on what we call actions. These are these icons that drill off to other places, either within Oracle or other places on the intranet. These are basically icons that punch out to other places outside of Applaud. So for example, here we've got links to Oracle expenses and procurement. Just makes a nice, easy way to navigate around the system instead of as an alternative to the Oracle menu. You can also navigate out to external or intranet URLs. We'll be talking a bit about the employee directory, how the employee directory is set up, how you control the search. We have a freeform search that has filters down the left. You can filter on different parts of HR, and you can also search on different fields within HR. And all this is configurable again, so you can decide how which fields Applaud searches on and how to filter the results. This is all configurable too. We'll be covering that. And then just finally, quickly, let me just show you the mobile version working. So if you want to try the mobile version out, your mobile version will connect against our demo instance. If you go to the App Store, I'm using an iPhone, but it works on Android too. On iPhone or Android, look for the app called Employee Center for Oracle HR by our company. Download that onto your iPhone or Android phone. You'll get a native app. It's a native app. You'll get something like that installed. And then to bring the mobile version up, put the URL in as normal. The same URL we have on desktop. Press connect. Enter your username and password. So we're going to be using BEricso welcome. And you'll get into our demo app on mobile. Works pretty much the same way. I won't take time demoing through this. You'll be able to work it out by using it yourself. But essentially, you've got the same set of options underneath the photo. This is the Employee Self-Service menu. So if I want to look at my profile, here's my assignment details, my contact details. If I want to look at my, say, absence, here's my absence balance, here's my absence history. Okay. The big difference on mobile at the moment in our current release is that each panel that's shown on screen on desktop shrinks down to a different menu option on the mobile solution. So for example, if I click on personal information here on desktop, you can see I've got basic details, phones, home address, contacts. Those collapse into sub options on the mobile solution. So if I click basic, I can see the same information here: phones, address, and contacts. Okay. So this brings up an important point. While we don't spend too much on mobile in the course, the configuration that we do for Applaud is central. Okay, it's done centrally on eBusiness Suite, and the same configuration powers desktop, mobile, and tablet. So you make a change in personalization here to change the basic details. It will change the desktop solution as well as the mobile solution and everything else. Good. So that's the end of the introduction. The rest of the course can be taken at your own pace with sessions to progress. So that's the end of this introduction. We recommend you start now on session 1 to start your formal training.